Run It Back Nation, what is good? It is your boy DJ Eastwood, Run It Back Philly. No frauds, no fanboys. Never, ever, ever in my life have I ever had an intro. If you think that, you're lying to yourself. Hit the like button on the video. Give me 500 likes. There's a couple things we could talk about today. All right. Ramona Shelburne article came out proving that I was right about James Harden all along, that he was hungover half of the season last year or the year before that. He did the same thing that he did in Houston, which is fly separately so that he can enjoy certain aspects of nightlife. You know, the James Harden show. But I don't want to talk about that because I'm going to sit up here and boast about how right I am all the time. I was right about James Harden. I was right about Ben Simmons. I was right about Brett Brown. I was right about Doc Rivers. I mean, when are you just going to listen to me? You know what I mean? We're going to do something more positive today. We're going to focus on positivity today. So to drown out the new James Harden story, which isn't new at all, it's the same James Harden story. When that came out, this also came out. Nick Nurse went on the Pat Bev pod with my boy Roan, one of my favorite battle rappers of all time. If you haven't heard of Roan battle rap, please just search Roan King of the Dot or Roan Grind Time or Roan URL. He was phenomenal back in the day. Anyway, he's now a podcaster on Barstool Sports and on the Pat Bev pod. And Nick Nurse was just on the show, and he said some very, very, very hopeful, enlightening things. Nick Nurse is going to change my mind about the Sixers. Nick Nurse is going to make me believe again and inevitably get stabbed in the heart, the same as I always do, the same as we always do. But Nick Nurse is gonna bring me back. I'm about to be back in. It is what it is. First things first, I love this question from Ronan. I love the answer from Nick Nurse because as soon as the Sixers hired Nick Nurse, it was nothing but, from Raptors fans, all I heard was, oh yeah, just wait till he plays Joel Embiid and James Harden 48 straight minutes and runs them into the ground and on and on and on because of what he did with the lack of talent on the Toronto Raptors roster. So Roan asked him about it. Here's what he said.
Incredible. I think that one of the hallmarks of all the squads that you play is you get your guys and you're going to run a tight rotation. How do you pick who stays in that rotation? I think that we look at the Toronto team.
See, that's general. That's just generally what's thought. He runs a tight rotation.
From last year, there were like 3 guys who had like 37 minutes a game, guys who are getting a lot of burn out there. How do you determine who is worthy of being in that small, tight rotation?
They probably pick it themselves, to be honest with you. I think that a couple things. I'm not really trying to get to that kind of tight rotation with a number of guys. I think there's some guys that are doing all the things necessary.
I mean, I'm not really trying to, but I had to because I didn't have the talent to play a lot of guys a lot of minutes. That might actually be the same situation on the Sixers now that I think about it because this roster just doesn't make any sense. But I don't want to be negative here. Let's continue.
Necessary to stay out there, both ends. There's some guys that can handle it, physically. I
like that part. There's some guys that can handle it physically. If they look run down, I'm going to bring them off the floor. But there's a part that I really like about this.
They do a lot of all parts of team play. That's part of it. And the other thing is, like, I'm like my bench guys, they'll tell you too, when they come in, if they get rolling, they're gonna roll. They got a 6-minute stint coming, but if they're rolling, it might go to 18 sometimes. Like, guys start feeling good, man.
There was a game last year where I witnessed the starters play like garbage. I witnessed the bench come in and bring them back, and Doc Rivers put the starters back in the game. I forget what game that was. I think it might have been against the Denver Nuggets, man. But we were down like 20-something. The game was over. Doc throws in the white towel. The deep bench starts bringing us back, and he put the starters back on the floor. I was blown away. There's also one where Paul Reed had 4 offensive rebounds in a row, and Doc pulled him off the floor. I'm so glad Doc Rivers is gone. I think we finally have a coach that's going to do things that are just fucking common sense, bro.
I'm going to let them roll on their night sometimes,
Let's talk about
I love that, Nick Nurse. Let's go. Give me more. All right, so here's where Roan asked him about Embiid. I have not heard this yet. I haven't seen a quote yet, so I'm just going to live react to whatever he says.
I want to talk about Embiid, and I want to eventually get to how you're going to use him as a post player, especially, you know, a lot of times we talked about him having Marcus
from
All.
Philly. You must be from Philly.
You know, I know.
Oh, he's saying, you know, people in Philly complain that Joel Embiid's not on the block enough.
Ball, dude. But I really want to know what you said to him on the sideline when you guys had that kind of back and forth spat. Were you telling him to quit flopping, or what were you telling him to do? What were you telling Embiid to?
Well, first thing is, I'll be honest with you, like I didn't really realize we were going at it all that much over the years until I got here. I literally like accidentally had my TV on at the hotel in Philly. And they were showing like a big clip of it, and I was like, man, I don't remember it being like that, but the proof was there. So I can't remember. We were saying all kinds of.
Man, Nick Nurse was the most annoying coach on the planet, bro. He's in the ref's ear every second of every game.
Things he just asking me, you know, what's coming next, and I'm saying, well, we're just sending everybody, man. So get ready. Like you're not going to beat us, like, you know. And I just tell him, and he you know, he'd say the same, and I'd probably complain they were giving him too many calls, and he'd say those are all fouls, and I'm like, no, they can't call them all, so we're gonna keep fouling, you know, things like that. You were on his ass, just stuff like that. Maybe you need to get his side of the story on that
I
too.
like that.
Is there a group of coaches? I don't know if it's NBA overseas that you go to for information, or go to for, you know, I don't know, kind of guidance. I don't know. You might not know.
At Grandview University in Iowa, you know, and they're still with me. How about this guy? He looked good off the bench.
This podcast is funny because Roan's trying to make it all about the Sixers and what's going to happen the upcoming season, and Pat keeps taking it back to something else. Come on, bro. I want to hear the answer to the Joel Embiid question, Pat. All right, it didn't really answer the question about how he's going to use Joel Embiid, I think, yet. But there's a question about Tyrese Maxey right here.
There's youth on this team, and a guy like Tyrese Maxey, who he's just going 100 miles an hour. What's it been like to try and scheme for a guy that's that fast, plays that down?
First of all, scheme for a guy. Doc Rivers never schemed for Tyrese Maxey, not one time his whole short career so far.
Hill.
Very, very difficult. He gave us a lot of problems playing against him, right? I mean, it's just there's some things, I mean, like Joel, I mean, what are you going to do when the guy's just too big for you? Right? Like you just can't pull.
I think Roan was asking him about the offensive, about coaching Tyrese Maxey, and I think he's answering it about coaching against Tyrese.
One guy on him. You got, like, that's why we had to run all these schemes to try to stop Joel. Like, and Maxey was similar. We had the speed. We just couldn't figure out how to keep up with him a lot of times, right? But mentioning him, like, listen, I know everybody's talking like this is a chance for him to take a big step forward and all that, and he will.
Yeah,
He will.
Most guards.
Pat Bev says something great right here that gives me hope.
Most guards
Yeah.
play very well under Nick Nurse system.
Why do you think that is?
I think so. I come from overseas. I get to a timeout. Nick Nurse goes, you know, you can shoot transition 3-pointers. Like with the calm, it's like not.
By the way, Pat played for Nurse in the British League or the NBA D League, when it was the D League. He played for Nick Nurse. So that's where he's coming from with this. But already, a coach that's telling a guy to take a shot versus a coach in Doc Rivers who, when Tyrese Maxey, what is rookie year, second year, he told him like every shot you take is a shot that Tobias could have, is a shot. He told him to second guess himself, which is insane that a coach would be on that level telling a young player to second guess himself. But just the fact that Nick Nurse is telling young guys, hey, you can shoot the ball, man.
Angry, not screaming. Coach tell you that in the midst of like the battle, and you run through a wall for a coach like that. You know what I'm saying? Like once, obviously people, you know, the coach trusts you, but once you have trust within the coach, and okay, man, this motherfucker got my back, he ain't trying to fuck me, I think you get the best player out of it.
This dude has my back. Oh my God, I've been screaming that for 2 years, man. When a coach instills confidence in a young player, the player plays better. Doc Rivers held people back. They were scared to play. There's a Paul Reed tweet about, you know, somebody told him to shoot a 3 in a game, and he was like, yeah, right, I'm not losing my minutes. Like, they were, young players will go out there and be afraid. Isaiah Joe looked like trash because of Doc Rivers.
More.
You know?
Let's talk BBL,
Okay.
British Basketball League.
Chill.
The mind for these perverted minds out here. British basketball. Talking to these guys about coaching, they say that the sets that you run are it's like football plays out there, that you just have these screens, these dribble handoffs with all this static that people have to run.
Wow, actually being creative and calling plays. Wow, we haven't seen that since Larry Brown.
Run through and everything, that there's immense creativity and courageousness in your play calling, in that you can do things that are outside of the box.
Well, we're going to probably do that a little bit. I think that, I don't know. I just kind of got maybe there's a better way to do stuff sometimes, and then we'll experiment with it, and we're not real fool. If it doesn't work, we just.
So you're telling me maybe PJ Tucker, Tobias Harris on the floor together going goose eggs in playoff games, maybe you would say, maybe we should change something up here.
Like crumple it up real quick and throw it away. But if it does work, we'll like put it over in our playoff toolbox and bring it out later. Try a bunch of stuff.
A coach experimenting. Wow.
Did you know how good you were before you stepped on the NBA floor?
All right, here I think he's going to answer the question about Joel Embiid.
So then when you look at Embiid being the centerpiece of this team, what ways do you think that he can kind of blossom under you?
Well, first and foremost, I hate to be boring and start at the defensive end, but I'm going to really expect a lot
Doesn't bore me, brother.
Rim protection from him.
Yeah.
I would say that would be where I'm going to start, that we're going to probably let our aggressive guards be really aggressive and funnel a lot of things to him.
Oh, so not put Joel Embiid all the way out on the perimeter on a three-point shooter to burn his energy. Nice.
Yeah.
Right? I'm expect him to, I always say he's going to take more swings at block shots.
To swat
You want to block
left and
more
right.
shot, you get a swing.
I thought he already does. I think he takes nights off during the regular season, but I thought he already does take a lot of swings at blocking shots.
Swing more, right? You got to swing at some more balls. So that'd be the first thing. I think he continues to develop and be creative on offense. I would imagine you're going to see him doing about a little bit of everything offensively, from bringing it up the floor to running screen and rolls to DHOs to we're going to be running some down screens, cross screens, back screens, whatever. They're going to have to defend everything with him. And
wow. I'm so excited for a coach that's actually going to have some damn movement on the offensive side of the ball. Doc Rivers' offenses had significantly less movement than Brett Brown's offenses, which I thought had no movement at all. That's how bad Doc Rivers was.
And hopefully we can get him the ball.
Talk about, and I have to.
Here we go. Here's what I want to hear.
A guy that the Sixers just re-signed this summer, Paul Reed, B-Ball Paul.
I just posted a clip on Instagram of Paul Reed with 3 offensive rebounds in a row, and Doc Rivers took him out. And then another clip where Doc played Dwayne Dedmon in the third quarter of a close game. Anyway.
This is a guy whose body type you're familiar with. You've had these like 6'9" guys with these kind of similar body type, similar game. How do you think that Philadelphia 76ers fans can expect you to deploy him this year? What do you see in him? Does he play with Embiid? What's his future with this team?
Let's go, Nick. Give it to me straight.
Yeah, I think, first of all, I love him. Plays hard, got an incredible nose for the basketball. Like, I got a lot of time for guys that can go get the ball.
Yeah.
Right? The ball's pretty important in
Yeah.
the game, right? And he really can go get it. And even when he does.
Goes to it. I've never seen somebody fly to a rebound like Paul Reed other than Andre Drummond, man. Paul Reed per minute, per 36, was one of the best rebounders in the entire NBA last year, bro. This is not, I just can't believe that other dude couldn't figure it out, but I'm excited that this dude's going to figure it out.
Doesn't he just misses it about 25 times a game where you think he's going to get it?
Taking swings at.
Yeah. So, and he's had a great summer. I mean, amazing. He's really worked from the moment I got the job. He got in the shooting program, and he's been on it. He's in shape. Will he play with Embiid for sure?
Yeah.
Like I don't think that's a question.
Bro, they asked Doc Rivers in press conferences, would you ever consider just putting Paul Reed on the floor with Embiid to see what it looks like? And he wouldn't do. The guy refused to experiment with anything. And Nick Nurse says, sure, why not? We'll try it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. This guy would not experiment in the middle of November of the regular season. Oh my God, I'm so happy.
He got in the shooting program and he's been on it.
I'm so happy.
He's in shape. Will he play with Embiid for sure? Like I don't think that's a question. Like man, he's gonna be out there playing hard. He's gonna be defending. He's gonna be doing probably more than he's done before. I think
Absolute polar opposite from what we just had.
he's ready to take a step up and he can play.
Love that.
Let's go, B-ball Paul! Out the mud. There you have it. That is the best parts of the Nick Nurse interview on the Pat Bev pod. I tried to get all the Sixers stuff for you. I tried to get all the intricate little things, little specifics about the Sixers team specifically in an hour and 20-minute show. There was a lot of things in there, so I listened to the whole thing and tried to get the good stuff out. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit the like button if you're excited for Nick Nurse. Hit the like button if you're excited for Tyrese Maxey under Nick Nurse. Hit the like button if you're excited for Paul Reed under Nick Nurse. I think the roster has major holes in it, but this makes me at least positive that I'm not going to have to watch some stubborn old son of a you-know-what refuse to adjust and refuse to experiment. This makes me happy. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.